like a threat. And one of the things that can't be attacked is your self-custody Bitcoin. And one of the things that can be attacked is the ETF. You can't be exposed to that. That's my view. It's not a good idea. And by the way, that'll hit MSTR too. It'll probably hit other stuff as well. Friends and enemies, welcome back. Canadian Bitcoiners podcast.
Friends and enemies, welcome to the CBP. Want to be better informed? Listen to Len and Joey. Sponsors taken care of right off the top. Bull, Bitcoin, and easy DNS. The media is feeding the slop. It doesn't matter what topics discussed. Quality entertainment and information you can trust.
That's being planned or at least discussed. You know, we're not going to allow
quality entertainment and information you can trust. Send the guy some value, boost them with some stats. Bitcoin is a scarcity asset. I mean, it's just a fact. Geopolitical, national, down to the local cloud.
Friends and enemies, welcome back to the Canadian Bitcoiners podcast. Len, did the Bank of Canada, are they planning on abandoning inflation as a metric that they look at for their man? Shrug. I don't know. Who cares?
Does it matter? Does it change anything?
Can they even do anything about it, even if they still look at it? I don't know.
Yeah, that's a really good point. The answer is no, right? A lot of this has to do with how much money is being pumped into the system. What can a bank really do?
Not much. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about a bunch of other stuff. It's good to see you guys. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for listening, watching. Yeah, big day here. Bitcoin all-time high a little earlier, 126,000 something US, which is huge. I don't know what the price is now because I have a young daughter and things to do before the podcast. But
125.
That's pretty good. 125K. We like that. We're on the way to $1 million. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about a bunch of other stuff. But first, Len, the sponsors, EasyDNS, the best place for you to host your content. Buy a domain, port a domain, anything to do with domains. Mark's got your back. We like Mark. He's been a friend of the show for a long time, friend of ours as well. And him and I will be doing a couple of different, I think, chats at the conference. We'll be on stage for it together. One is just the two of us about Bill C2, the wolf in sheep's clothing, I think the talk is called. Not pulling any punches there. Anyways, if you're a Bitcoiner, lots of stuff for you over at EasyDNS on the virtual private server side. You can run a Bitcoin node, Nostr relay, set up a BTC Pay server implementation for your shop. Don't use Shopify, that's for sure. He can take care of all that for you. For a couple extra bucks, you get domain share and easy mail, which honestly, if you're doing anything related to a business or hosting client info, or you have an email list or whatever, you want to protect those things. And these days, a lot of people are gunning for that information. It's sold on the dark web. It's used nefariously. And you can imagine all the things that could go wrong if you lose your client list or client database. So Mark can take care of you there too. All you got to do is go to easydns.com, put in the promo code CBP Media, and you get 50% off your first round of buys. Can't beat it.
What else is sold on the dark web?
Bitcoin.
Now, a good place to buy it, not on the dark web, would be from Bull Bitcoin. Good place to sell it, not on the dark web, would be Bull Bitcoin, because they will happily sell it, buy it, all that thing, using Lightning, using on-chain, the whole 9 yards. Not just that. I mean, since they're non-custodial, you have to provide an address in order to facilitate a buy. This is what you want. You don't want to have an opportunity to get rugged. They don't give you that opportunity. You have to provide that address. This is really the way you should look at an exchange. Furthermore, you could also pay bills with your Bitcoin. You could buy gift cards with your Bitcoin. If you have to send money to somebody, you can send, through Bitcoin. It ends up as an e-transfer in their bank account. Lots of different options you could do over there. They're the best in the game. If you sign up using our referral code below, you'll get taken a little bit off your buys and sells forever.
Yeah. So 25% off your fees. Yeah, can't beat that. Can't beat that. We have two more sponsors. The famous Brampton Man or Hamilton Man segment at the end of the show is where we talk about 256 Heat, but you should be looking into them as well. And then, of course, Len, we're a week away from the Bitcoin Conference 2025. I'm very excited. Talk to Daniel Carlin today on the phone. Talk to one other person whose name I won't reveal, but there's going to be a fun contest during the conference as well. Things are shaping up. Booked my flights today. We are ready to rock and roll. If you haven't bought a ticket yet, you ought to. And you can get a bunch of money off, not with our promo code. I don't know if Dan even wants me to share this, but I'm going to anyway. I think the promo code Meetup 2025 saves $45 off the ticket, off any ticket. I'm pretty sure any tier. So enjoy that. Couple housekeeping things. I won't be here next week on Monday. I'll be I'll be at the Washington Redskins Chicago Bears Monday night game. So we need a co-host. If you know who should co-host with Len, let me know and we'll bring him in. Otherwise, Len will be hosting with the chat. And
yeah, I'll do it solo. I was thinking maybe just doing that as a solo rip and just
you could
be a quicker one because you're not going to hear me talk for an hour and a half.
Yeah, it's Thanksgiving Monday anyways over here, right? So I don't expect a lot of people to be sitting by their computers, probably be fat and happy sitting by the TV. That's one thing. This week I'm doing a home and away with Mike Campbell. So Mike will be stopping by 6:00 on Wednesday, and then I will be recording with him on Thursday, and we have an announcement to make on that Thursday show. Could be on the Wednesday show too, actually. I'm not sure when he wants to make it, but I'm looking forward to talking to him. Tons, man. You know, I don't listen to a lot of shows with as much regularity as listen to Money Talks. I love Money Talks. I don't always listen to it right away anymore because I'm a little busier than I was a year ago, obviously. But you can go back through Mike's roster of guests, Len, honestly, and even including me, which is hilarious. If you listen to Mike's guests, you're making money. You're making money on equities. You're making money on real estate. You're making money on Bitcoin. You're making money on metals. You're making money on commodities. Like Mike, for all the things that we rant and rave about slop online, Mike is zero slop. He's all signal, and he's a great guy too. So I'm looking forward to talking to him. It's been a while since we had him on. We have him on about once a year, and I'm excited to chat with him. He doesn't get to talk on his own show. He's asking all the questions. I want to ask him some questions. I'm like,
put him on the spot.
Yeah.
What does he think about Bitcoin? Yeah, I don't think I ever.
He loves it.
Does he?
Yeah.
I don't hear him speak too much about it.
He's had I'll tell you what, like the announcement we're making on Thursday tells you everything you need to know about what he thinks about Bitcoin. I'll say that.
Boost?
Let's do it.
Wartime 133, couple of beer mugs. Cheers.
Shout.
Cheers to you too.
Shout. Oh, you know, I should mention too, Mark, thanks again to Mark for coming on the show 2 weeks ago. We released that last week. I forgot we didn't do a live show, but it did come out. So enjoy that if you haven't already. Okay, get back to the boost. Sorry.
God's Deeth 237 stats. He says, "Thank you, gentlemen."
You're welcome.
I think this was with respect to yours and Mark's interview.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun with Mark
because he made a secondary comment to that, but there was no stats associated with it. So I'm pretty sure that's what he's discussing.
Appreciate it, man. Yep.
Mo BTC Dick 500 sats. He says, we need to start a betting pool for Joey's answers on Brampton versus Hamilton, man. I'm not sure how we could do a betting pool because it's live.
Yeah.
And so you'd have to bet right away. Is he going to say Brampton or Hamilton? This could be possible, but if you guys could figure this out and want to take lead on this, go right ahead. I'd like to hear it.
Totally.
Like to see it, to put it in action. Dan Wedge, 513 sats. Just give kudos to the $1 Singapore. He says, "Hey Noster, this is a sponsorship call. Can we put some sats together and lend weekly shot at Bitcoin Magazine? I think 1 to 5K sats weekly should do it." What am I going to say?
You do it for 5,000 sats.
I'll do it for free. Whenever there's a reason
tweet out
to
the
it.
Tweet out the kindly MD stock chart every week and just play bagpipes.
Oh my God, they did not have a good day today.
It's below where it was on the conversion from medical zombie to Bitcoin Treasury. I think. I have to look at that again, but I saw some stuff on Twitter about that not even an hour ago. So
the people that bought in, what are they? The pipe guys.
Yeah.
Are they underwater or?
I don't know what they bought at, honestly. So I'm not sure, but it's a good question.
Awesome if they were. I can't believe I'm saying this, but at least he has access to a private jet, so it's all
Yeah. Listen, I hope they turn it around. I
don't give a fuck about them.
I know.
Doom Satoshi 5.
Okay, hold on. I forgot to tell you, my wife is going to pottery. I got to get the monitor from her. Just keep doing your thing.
And the final, last but not least, Doom Satoshi 521 sats. Very short, very sweet. He says, "Thank you for your time, and you are very welcome." So for people wondering what the heck I'm doing, I'm reading off the top 5 boostograms that people could send in through stuff like, what is it, Noster and Fountain, shit like that. And if you want to send a message and some sats along with it, if it's top 5, I'll read it next week.
Yeah.
So there you go.
I was going to say something there. I keep on saying that I'm make this announcement on Thursday with Mike. Mike already made it. I'm going to be speaking at the World Outlook Financial Conference in Vancouver in 2026.
February, right?
I think February. Yeah. So I will be on the West Coast talking to a room full of traditional financial investors. And I will be doing a talk about, obviously, Bitcoin. So I don't know what I'm going to talk about because it just feels to me like I could go two directions, right? I could either spend the whole 20 minutes just dunking on them, or I could try and convince them that this is something they should be rooting for. I'm not sure exactly.
Not rooting
yeah.
for it is something they should purchase. What makes Bitcoin? Well, what makes Bitcoin Bitcoin? What
Yeah.
makes it
Yeah.
desirable for us? Well, limited supply. You can't take it from you. You can verify it with almost little horsepower. There's a lot to it. If you start selling those items and explain each one in depth, then it's hard to say, hey, shit, this thing is garbage.
Man, I really feel
just
like you're
makes
right about that, but
you're talking to people that understand rare assets, hard assets that can't be duplicated. So like that's the kind of shit you got to talk to. These are the kinds. That's my opinion, but run with it, man.
I'm really looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to it. You know, we talk about on the show sometimes how because we did this podcast and because it's found, you know, niche internet micro celebrity status, we've been afforded some kind of cool opportunities over the years to meet certain people and attend certain events. Like I could not be more happy to do this. And you know, they're paying for travel and that's it. I'm doing the rest for free. It's my pleasure to talk to people who want to learn about Bitcoin in a scenario or at a, you know, in a place in time where maybe it's not the favorite asset, right? Everywhere else we go, land Bitcoin, obviously super popular, but this place I expect it to be not a hostile crowd, but a skeptical crowd for sure.
You got to take a step back from where we are in this echo chamber, and you have to figure out what is Bitcoin adoption right now. And I'm not talking about just simply companies, but just even individually and somebody that actually holds Bitcoin, not leaving on exchange or having an ETF. What is that? What do we achieve in terms of adoption rate? Is it like 1% of 1% of 1%?
Oh
is that
God, maybe. I
like,
don't even know.
it's something extremely small. And through all that, we have now the price of Bitcoin went up today to 126K per Bitcoin. It shows you like how much runway is left here.
Yeah.
And we haven't heard anything from these monster companies aside from Tesla. We haven't heard from Microsoft. We haven't heard from Google. We haven't heard from Apple. You name it. Say a thing positively about Bitcoin. Mm-hmm. Eventually, they're going to have to say something positive about Bitcoin. And when they do, then people are going to look, oh, they flip a switch. Oh, there must be something to it. You missed a boat at that time because that's, 17, 18 years past the inception date of Bitcoin. Nobody uses it right now.
Yeah.
And think of how valuable it is. And I can't buy enough of it. It's just, I crave it. I need it. I need as much as possible. I think everybody's in that same boat once they understand it. And there's so much left to grow here. It's going to be great.
I totally agree. Let's get into it. Where do you want to start?
Let's talk about this Bitcoin cookie guy.
Sure.
It's a story that we should all learn from. I am a big fan of learning from other people's mistakes. And the reason why these lessons are free. Somebody else pays the price and you just reap the rewards and go from there. So this guy, Bitcoin_cookie on X, if you want to check him out, go ahead. He posted something unfortunate, what happened to his Bitcoin, and I'm going to read it almost verbatim. He says, "We are devastated to share that our Bitcoin holdings, our entire savings, and a potential inheritance for our daughter has been drained from our Ledger wallet. This was everything we worked for so hard to build and protect." What he did, he clicked on a link and a hacker stole the information from a cloud. His keys were stored on a cloud somewhere. So this has nothing to do with Ledger being shitty. It is shitty, but this wasn't the weakest link in the chain here. What it was is he did not properly store his keys. From what I gather, I'm just trying to piece things. When he set up his Ledger wallet, he must have copied and pasted those words into maybe a Google Cloud or some other cloud service. I'm guessing. So pick a cloud service, right? And then somehow through clicking a link on the internet, he was able to give access to a hacker to his cloud. They must have found this, and it was for them. It was they must have been so happy to see that. The amount he lost was in the vicinity, don't quote me on this, around 0.58 BTC, so more than half of Bitcoin. And it goes to show you, this was his entire savings, and he's saying this is, inheritance for his daughter. So in his eyes, how valuable Bitcoin is, not even one Bitcoin is generational wealth for this guy. And I'm in the same boat as him. But still, even with that in his head, with this thinking, he still did not do the right thing when it comes to setting up and securing your keys. Everybody out there that has put their keys online somewhere, if it's on a computer that's attached to the internet, or you've, in this case, put it somewhere on a cloud server, I would strongly suggest to re-roll things, start from scratch, and set it up so your keys are never exposed anywhere online, and then move your Bitcoin from the compromised wallet or potentially compromised wallet to a new one which is not compromised. Doing that, you are much safer. Learn from Bitcoin Cookie. The guy suffered a $65,000-$70,000 USD mistake. Nobody could afford this. Well, maybe some people can, but nobody wants to afford this.
Yeah.
Don't be like him. Be a better Bitcoiner.
I really don't have, excuse me, bad timing on the yacht. I really don't have much to say about this because, we talked about these types of stories from time to time when they come up. And how is it you're putting stuff into the cloud still, your seed words? How is that,
You know what it is, Joey? It is ease of use. It is laziness.
It's laziness is what it is.
The path of least resistance. And this applies to anything. This applies to anything in life. People will always choose the path of least resistance when it comes to doing something.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why something is hard is because, well, a lot of people aren't doing it, right? That's what makes it hard. But it doesn't mean it's the wrong thing to do. It's just the more challenging thing, and it potentially is more rewarding. How I suggest you back up your keys is use the metal plates. Do that. Secure that somewhere. You could even be very good with like some very creative solutions where you maybe change things around or move it in the different. I don't want it to give up too many secrets, but there's ways you could be very, very secure, even if somebody does find your plates. And that's the best way. I never want to have it exposed on the internet, and I want to have it in safe places. And multiple, I think, is probably the better, and different jurisdictions, because you never know if you get locked out on one. And I think that's the best thing. And also another thing, if you really want to go a little bit further, you could use the 25th word. So you could have a
seed
phrase.
Seed phrase. Sure. Yeah.
And if you really want to go even further, you can memorize your keys. You could do it to 12 words, a little bit easier to remember. 24.
Dude, you could memorize, like, you could memorize the last 5 and a passphrase and not worry about basically anything. You could put the other 19 in the cloud if you're really that desperate. But if you know the last 5 plus your passphrase, you're good. But like you said, it's just this path of least resistance all the time. Even as the asset appreciates to new heights, like NBK had this right a long time ago. Secure your Bitcoin like it's worth 100 times more than it is, because it's going to be worth that. And now here we are at 125,000, and people are still. I mean, the other question is, I wonder how many people put stuff in the cloud 5 years ago and forgot about it. And now, that data is maybe not, necessarily quote unquote hackable, but certainly it's more at risk than if you just done this air gapped with a cold card. Like you gotta think about these things. You can fix this, by the way. Like sweeping a wallet, like you mentioned, is easy to do. It takes 5 minutes, and there's no excuse for not doing it.
And fees are low.
Yeah.
So moving it from one address to another, even multiple times, if you choose to do so, it's not going to cost you very much in terms of fees, in terms of Bitcoin. So now is a really good time to do it. And I think one other thing I want to just point out, because I didn't touch on it too much, is if somebody wants to leave their Bitcoin on an exchange, like I can't put enough thumbs down on that.
Yeah.
Wherever you buy your Bitcoin, hopefully it's Bull Bitcoin, but if not, if it's an exchange that's custodial, move your Bitcoin off as soon as it's possible to do so. I know some would have like a minimum which you have to do, like whatever it is. Then if you do that, you're not leaving it in for them to hold on to you, because that's another ruggable place. I know it's not entirely the same.
But you get shotgun KYC'd, and I remember I had a bunch on ShakePay maybe last year or 2 years ago, I forget when, but when I went to move it off, it was like a 2-day delay because of the shotgun KYC, and the app didn't work like that. I couldn't get the app to take a picture or something like that. I can't remember what the problem was, but it ended up taking me a couple of days to get the corn off. And it's just like, why? I should have just not had this there at all in the first place. Like, it's just not worth it. If you think directionally it's going to get easier to take money off exchanges, you're wrong about that. It's going to get much, much harder.
All right. You want to move on and talk about this Paxful story?
Sure. Do Paxful, do Bitcoin well. Where do you want to go?
Well, we could do Bitcoin well if you want to. I don't have much to say aside from the fact that they raised, or they're going through the process to raise $100 million. And with that, they're going to be buying Bitcoin and also paying for general expenses as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's, they're working towards becoming a Bitcoin treasury company, so to speak. I think right now they're sitting on around 75 Bitcoin, give or take. Am I right? Or I can't remember.
I don't know. Something like that.
This is more just from what I understand. And yeah, I mean, all the more power to them. Like, what can I say? I'm not a fan of Bitcoin treasury companies, right? Like, I've been pretty adamant about this. They could do what they want. I have no issues with any company doing whatever the fuck they want to do. It's their company. They want to dilute, borrow. That's their fucking right to do it. But for me to invest in any Bitcoin treasury company, man, that's not gonna happen.
There's a couple of notable things here. I just want to preface this by saying this is not a personal shot at Adam at all. I know Adam's a friend of the show, and while I don't necessarily agree this is a good idea, there are some things here that should be concerning. First, we'll talk about the dilution, right? There's a continued dilution going on at Bitcoin Well that's like scheduled and recurring, basically. He's paying Simply and BTC sessions in shares every quarter or something, every month. I don't know exactly when. But the interesting thing is that in this raise, it looks like their latest raise was done at 10 cents a share, while the influencers are getting 13 to 15 cents as a price. So the price is coming down on those shares. That's one problem. Other problem is they don't have any cash, right? So, while I do think that probably it's fine for Simply and Sessions to get paid in shares if they want them, I would just say that it's probably not an option to get paid in cash. It's probably it's shares or nothing, shares or options or whatever, or nothing. 100 million is a lot. 100 million is significantly more than they have in revenue and assets and whatever. Like I don't understand how you make this decision and your shareholders are okay with it, except that the shareholder base is really just like friends and family. That's the only rationale I should say, that I can think of. Because it's very risky to do this. I don't know. I don't get this. I said on the show before, like, going away from Bitcoin Well a little bit, there's no good reason to buy any treasury company that's not MicroStrategy if you view treasury companies as a good play. And by the way, the market is telling you this. Bitcoin's at an all-time high, and every treasury company, save for MicroStrategy, is down 90%. So, like, at what point is Bitcoin Well no longer investable? Like, I think probably the answer is right now, personally. But, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. The other thing that you have to consider, I think, this is, I'm not 100% sure exactly what the sort of machinations of this are, but if Bitcoin does get to a point where you can count on it as a long-term play, how are these companies going to continue to issue debt to buy it, or issue shares to buy it, when the people who are buying the shares could just buy it themselves? Same thing goes for MicroStrategy, I think. There's a lot of incentives here that are changing directions, and a lot of winds that are changing directions. And like I said, as much as I'm rooting for Canadian companies, and I have no issue with Adam. He's a good guy. I consider him a friend, to be honest with you, although we don't speak as much as we used to. I don't think this is a good idea. You can't keep issuing shares. Like at some point, the investors will get angry about that. The only reason, like I said, I think they haven't is because it's probably mostly family and friends, if I had to guess. which isn't necessarily a knock on the company. I mean, someone's got to buy the shares, right? But yeah, I would say like I did some GPT research too, but I'm not going to read through all of it. Just to me, it doesn't make a lot of sense. And this is a problem with all these small treasury companies that you are always going to be second best at the, in the most favorable situation, the most favorable outcome for you, you're going to be second best to MSTR. And there's no reason for anyone to buy anything that's not MSTR or Strike or Strive or whatever, right? He's got all these prefs and, so I don't know. Doesn't seem like a good idea to me.
Their goal is to get 5,000 Bitcoin with this $100 million raise. This is $100 million US.
Yeah.
By the way. Now, they say, as you said, 10.2 Canadian cents per unit. That's how they're going to do this private placement to raise
but think about this, right? Like there's some operational dysfunction here. Like I'm just looking at this list of data, 10% net losses and having to pay the influencers for marketing in cash or in stock instead of cash. 39 million total debt versus 26 million in total assets. That's before the $100 million raise. And the $100 million raise, even GPT says it's at a massive discount. So, I mean, at some point, like what do people outside of Bitcoin think about this is the question. Because people outside of Bitcoin, if I look at MSTR, may think it's a little reckless, but you can't really argue with the fortress that guy's built. Where's the fortress here? I don't see it. And the one reason I've seen like certain people on Twitter talking about this is going to be Canada's treasury company. Like Canada doesn't have an arbitrage, like a geographic arbitrage problem. You can go buy MSTR if you want. So like I don't see the point for this. And I see Boomer's talking about, they're diluting because they can. I would argue that he actually can't. Like eventually someone is going to have to say something about this, whether it's the board or whatever, because they have a legal obligation as well. So whether it's his family and friends or not, as long as there's somebody investing that's not in that little circle, one person being upset is enough to cause a stir.
If the price of Bitcoin, if they buy in and the price rips after that, say it goes 50% or higher, then it's a good move because simply timing they were fortunate on that. Mm-hmm. If the reverse happens, it goes down 20%, 10%. It's a bad move because they didn't time it right. Now, timing it is just roll of the dice for the most part. Maybe you have some inside knowledge of where the market may be going. I don't think that's really true. But question I have is 100 million US. Let's call that what? 140, 130 Canadian?
Like that. I don't know.
Let's call it 140 Canadian just for the heck of it, right?
Sure.
Take a guess what their market cap is in Canadian dollars.
20 million.
Very close, 30 million. So you're going from 30 million market cap to raise 140 Canadian. I always wondered about that.
It's a Hail Mary. It feels like a Hail Mary to me.
It's not honestly. Like if I'm worth I have a business and the business is worth $1. How can I sell more of it than $1? Like it's only worth, the market has deemed it to be $1 worth of value. How could I get $2 worth of, how could I squeeze more juice out of a lemon that only could yield only $1?
Wait till you hear about forward PE. I don't know. Again, I'm just looking at some of the stuff I wrote down here.
But this applies to everything. Like
it does. It does
doing the same thing. I don't know how like a $10 million they could raise so much capital when it's like look at the market cap. Isn't that like what the market deems to be the value of the company? And you're gonna somehow through some fiat magic raise more. I love that stuff because it just goes to show you why I like Bitcoin.
Did you not ask Adam? Did you not ask Adam a question about?
I don't want to get into that.
Okay, I can't remember if you did or not. I know we talked about it a bit because we were both curious, but
I don't know. Do not want to get into that.
At 10 cents a share, it's way below recent trading levels. So, what is Bitcoin well trading for right now?
9.5 cents USD.
Okay, so so maybe it's about average.
15 cents.
Yeah, I don't know. You can't keep diluting. It doesn't. Again, there comes a time where this is going to stop working for everyone that's not Michael Saylor. And I think that time is getting really, really close. And I've said before, as soon as they get on the S&P, if they get on the S&P, it's over for all these other guys. Every single one of them is going tits up. Every single one of them is going tits up.
Do you think that MicroStrategy will be there in 10 years?
Yeah, for sure. 100%.
I don't know. For some reason, I have a feeling it may
Do you think
not.
Bitcoin will be there in 10 years?
Yes.
Yeah, so he's going to be there in 10 years. He's got a fortress.
Those are not mutually exclusive.
No, they're completely aligned now. Mostly because his capital structure and his share structure, like the reason he's able to do this is because he's got the big Bitcoin balance sheet. If you start adding passive flows to the MSTR equation, like it's just going to become too strong for anyone.
The valuation
it's
of
already there probably
is 100% tied to them, the perceived
to the Bitcoin value. Yeah.
That perceived that they have access to the Bitcoin.
Okay, sure.
Now,
yeah.
If something were to happen to either Fidelity or Coinbase, either of them or maybe both, that it's exposed that there has been a hack, even to the smallest degree, that one of their wallets was drained for like half a Bitcoin, something so small that it wouldn't impact the bottom line of MSTR, and it could have come from a neighboring company, one of somebody else that has. I think the market would look at this and say, "My God, I can't trust this to be held by a third party that could be hacked by hypothetically a North Korean or something like that." It didn't require much work. They just had to somehow work their way in, get it, boom, and then, oh man. And that would be enough to just really drive down the price of Bitcoin and also drive down the price of said company.
I'm not necessarily saying you're wrong. I just think that's a fat tail risk is what I would say. Yeah.
Now we just talked about keys left on
on a cloud. Yeah.
On a cloud.
I doubt it.
Who
knows? Who knows?
Now we went from
it's never 0% chance, right? Never 0% chance. Yeah.
We went from hold your own keys, make sure it's never exposed, you only have access to it, blah blah blah, to like, you know what, this third party could hang on to it for me. That's okay. I know I don't trust an exchange holding my Bitcoin, but I do trust those two places. Those two things don't align, Joey. Yeah. It's either A is true or B is true, not both at the same fucking time.
I think yeah, you're not wrong about that. I just wanted to wrap up that point about the treasury companies. Like Bitcoin Well is not alone in this. What I think is going to be a failed plan, failed idea, and I hope the ATM company can keep them afloat. Though it doesn't look like it can. So I don't know.
As long as that is, you could keep getting debt.
Yeah,
companies will last forever, regardless if they're able to present it doesn't matter.
Someone's got to give you the money. Someone's got to give you the money.
Exactly. And if somebody's willing to do it, and their rates are coming down in Canada, at least more aggressively than they are in the States. I'm not sure how that impacts borrowing rates at the commercial level, but if it does, maybe it's more favorable to start, getting more and more debt. We're going to go drive to 0% interest rates. That's the goal, it seems. What does that mean for borrowing? And they fucking do this forever.
TBD.
Then there's no stopping it. But what you can stop is Paxful.
Yeah.
Right. Because they are going to be winding down operations as of November 1st, 2025. And they say, this is straight from them. I'm not fucking bullshitting this. I'm not fucking pulling this out of my fucking ass. This is what is said on their X account. Due to the lasting impact of historic misconduct by former co-founders Ray Youssef, we talked about him in the past.
He almost came on the show. Yeah.
Okay.
We opted not to. This was probably 2 years ago.
Or Shabak, sorry, I pronounced his name incorrectly. This was prior to 2023. Apparently, those two gentlemen did some, as they say, historic misconduct. It's not me saying it. It's what Paxful said. And they say, combined with unsustainable compliance remediation costs. So it's going to be closing down. And they say they condemn the actions of the past, does not reflect Paxful's values today. And since 2023, Paxful has transformed with a new leadership, strengthened ethical operations, blah, blah, blah. And to be honest, I thought they were down for some time. I recall a story back in 2021 that's when Ray Youssef became a name that we talked about. And what is Paxful? It's a peer-to-peer exchange. It's one of the largest out there. And to have this closed sucks.
Added to the list, though, of peer-to-peer exchanges that seem to be, shuttering. Yeah.
Yes, it seems to be this is the way things are trending. Where is Paxful, their headquarters located, Joey? If you could take a guess.
Canada.
United States, Delaware to be
Ah.
specific.
Of
So it
course,
makes-
Delaware.
Yeah.
Friendliest business jurisdiction in the world. Besides, where was SBF again? Where was he? Cayman or something like that? I forget.
Yeah, someone in some island somewhere. Isn't
remember.
Delaware Biden's state? Or am I incorrect?
It
on
is.
that?
Yeah.
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 So, if he
Great
was
place to do
responsible for-
business. There's some rule there around incorporation that makes it very easy to establish a company there, an LLC.
If you recall correctly, Paxful was rugged by Celsius. They were doing the Paxful Earn, and they were able to earn some weekly interest as a result. But that very fiat-like system, it went tits up.
Mhm.
And so they tried to do their best. Ray Youssef, I think, dipped in his own pockets to try to make investors or
That's the story. Yeah.
yeah. So now it's closing, but I think Ray Youssef and Arthur being historic misconduct. I can't speak on that. I haven't looked too much into that. You touched on it. I think that's the biggest story here is the peer-to-peer exchanges. I think they're going to be continually under attack. If they're not in the right jurisdiction, they say they had unsustainable compliance remediation cost. What the fuck does that mean? I don't know. It's just a word salad. But it sounds like doing business in Delaware, one of the best places to do business, wasn't good enough to stay open. I'm looking at other ones. These other peer-to-peer exchanges, they got to be careful with where they go.
Big time key man risk, right? It seems all these peer-to-peer exchanges that have shut down had key man risk. So these guys are blaming Ray. There's been other times, like, not necessarily exchanges, but we've talked about Tornado Cash and Samurai and stuff like that. If you got a guy at your helm, then you risk having problems. So interesting, right? Vexel, we talked about on the show. We had Mike the Groot on. He was he's the leader of Vexel, another P2P exchange, mostly in Europe right now. But these guys are all there. It's a noble goal to have an exchange running that allows two Bitcoiners to trade cash for corn with minimal friction, minimal ID, minimal blah blah blah. But it's not free. None of this stuff is free. There's legal ramifications. You have to pay people to keep your business afloat. Not to mention that if the government targets you, you're in a whole other world of hurt. Now, the question I have, honestly, is what are they claiming the what are they claiming the crimes? I don't want to say crimes.
I don't know.
What are they claiming the nefarious activities were perpetrated by Ray and his partner?
I don't know. I didn't dive.
I can't find it anywhere. I don't know what it is. I have no idea.
It must have been something to do with their association with Celsius. The fact that they were offering up some sort of earn product that was.
You think?
Celsius.
Yeah.
The timing of that just seems, 2023, and Celsius went tits up 2022.
Yeah.
So maybe because
that's right. It could be the right time. Yeah. I'm not saying you're wrong. I really don't know though. I couldn't find that anywhere. I mean, I didn't do that much searching, but you would think that with that kind of claim, they would have it in the thread at least, but they actually had nothing. So obviously, in my opinion, my armchair barrister here, the reason you don't say what the act was is because you can't prove that he did it, or it's, an allegation that you don't want to pursue or whatever. So that's another angle for all this, through all this.
Yeah, it could be is if you do say something specific, then it could be slanderous.
Yep.
Right. Then you're setting yourself for a legal challenge. If you leave it like this, it's vague enough that you
something
can just
happened. The milk was spilt and we have to close up.
But I to go back, we were talking about decentralized exchanges, the peer-to-peer stuff. I think more than anything, to show you how good we had it in Canada, and to a degree still have it in Canada. When not too long ago, a year and change ago, 2 years ago, you could buy it at the Canada Post, our post office here, with cash. Right now is at the time KYC free, and that was done without resistance. The post office was a agency of the government of Canada, so clearly it was nothing that was done nefariously. Also, ATMs are around. I think we have 3,600 or so ATMs throughout the country. Not all of them are KYC free. Some of them you have to provide some information, but There are a bunch of them that are KYC free, like Bitcoin Wells, for example, and they're still around. And if you want to like buy $500 worth of Bitcoin, you could go there. And
if you want to buy $500 worth of Bitcoin for $1,000, boy, do I have a place where you can do it.
I don't know if it's that.
No, it's
high. I think the spread is
like 600, let's say.
No, not even that much.
10%. I think it's 10 or 20%. No.
So if it's 500, it's 550.
Oh, well, 20% is 6. I think it's probably 10,
Right.
20%. Yeah.
I don't think it's 20.
Let's look.
But either way, I just wanted to point out like how good it was. I think it's 13 to 15% in Canada, the spread for their KYC. And there's also KYC free light. KYC free light. I think that's the term they use. It's like 5% spread if you want to try that way.
Let's see.
And so you just can do it. Other places you can't. And this is making more news these days. On some of the major news networks, they're talking about these Bitcoin, they call them crypto ATMs, as a way for people to extort money from people. You hear these stories all the time. They get in touch with some random stooge and they say, look, we have this information, send us this, we'll clear, your CRA is going to, they're looking for money. This is how you get cleared. Just send them Bitcoin away you go. Like, so they're saying that this is a point of people using it for proceeds of crime. And I'm wondering if there's going to be a point in time in a not too distant future that the government cracks down on Bitcoin ATMs, any purchases worth of Bitcoin ATMs.
Yeah.
And make them all KYC.
Yeah. Nothing would surprise me.
HODL's another one.
Yeah.
There's
tons of them out there, but their time is coming. I think you're right. Unfortunately, I wish you weren't right about that, but clearly like the clamps are coming down on financial privacy. I don't know how you could pretend anything else besides that.
You know what? I want to double back. I just thought of something from a previous discussion we were having.
Sure.
There is one original treasury company, Bitcoin treasury company in Canada, that has been doing this for a number of years.
EasyDNS.
That's publicly traded. Big digital
assets. Yeah, that's right.
Right. They have
Mark
had
Binns,
Bitcoin
baby.
in the balance sheet for years, right?
Yeah.
It hasn't translated into much for their stock price.
It did once. I don't know since then. Yeah.
That was the whole thing. It's the pump when you first get in, right? And then all of a sudden it goes to where it should be, to 20 cents or what the fuck, and that's its like normal price. That's I think what happens with a lot of these companies. They get pumped and then they just go back down to reality and whatever.
Let's see, what is the price of big digital assets right now, you think?
20 cents Canadian.
It is, let's see if this 20 cents. No, it's 8 cents. Down 5%. Down 5% today on Bitcoin all-time high.
Ooh, I was way off. So Liquid, Boomer saying Liquid has a connection with big digital assets.
EST was on the board at Big.
And didn't Big buy a portion of Liquid, something like that?
I don't know.
Of
That's a
shares.
good question. I'm not sure.
Big provides Liquid with the liquidity
Yeah.
for their Bitcoin that they could use in the Lightning before they ended up becoming a treasury company themselves, which then they don't even put it on Lightning, which seems odd.
I'm gonna get Sean back on. I'm in Montreal obviously for a couple of days for the conference. I'm gonna bring a couple of wireless mics, my iPhone, and a stand, and maybe record a couple of short pods. Maybe I'll see if Sean wants to talk. Or you can interview him. I'm not doing interviews for a while. I'm taking a couple of weeks off interviews. You could talk to him. You know better than me, anyways, on the Liquid/Lightning side, which is what their business model is. Well, they're supposed. That's not what they say. They say they're routing for fees, and that's the business model. Like,
look, if they are routing for fees, all the Bitcoin they bought with either selling debt or issuing debt or selling shares, they would have taken that Bitcoin and thrown it onto the Lightning Network to increase the amount of sats you can make through routing. But they didn't do that.
Maybe you can't put your treasury assets into your operating budget.
What the fuck? I would love to see these fucking rules being just played
I don't know.
out.
I honestly don't know. Yeah,
Like,
sure. Nothing would surprise me. Nothing would surprise
You
me.
own the fucking thing. You bought it legally. You can do whatever the fuck you want with it. If you want to fucking wipe your ass with it, you can.
Not in this country.
No, man. Anyways, Parasite Mining Pool. Never heard of these guys.
Great name.
Parasite.space. That's their website if you want to check them out. So there is a ton of smaller mining pools out there. So me not hearing of this name before doesn't mean fuck all. Anyways, these gents decided to open source their code. You can check it out on github.com/parasite pool. And it appears to be a fork of CK pool. One thing I just wanted to point out to this, one really interesting concept. If you're part of it, if a block is found, 1 Bitcoin is given to the miner who finds the block, and the rest is divvied up amongst the rest of the people, the rest of the miners.
Cool.
I found it to be an interesting concept out there. Just wanted to just bring that out there. Like, it's open source, and they have a different way of paying out. Is if you're that lucky miner, you're not really solo mining, but you are going to get a little bit more if you are the lucky one to win. So interesting.
Am I supposed to have a comment on that? Do you like this better or Tides better from Ocean?
Pick your poison, I guess. I don't really
I personally like Tides better, but I will say that on Reddit, I am constantly now fed these pictures of guys with bid axes, and it says block bound. What do I do now? And the first question is always, if you're in a pool, nothing. If you're in a pool, you live the rest of your life with regret, immense regret. You're not getting that reward. It's shared. Be nice to have a little bit of a banging slice of a pie that you ended up cracking, right? But not an option for all these miners. I like Tides personally because the idea that you can like turn your miner off for a bit and still reap some benefits because you were on for X amount of hours or whatever, X amount of blocks. I really like that. Not to mention that, like, just thinking about the heater that Tuan got me here. It hits, Ocean as a pool hits probably 3-4 blocks a day, 2 blocks a day, something like that. Like, it's not bad. Some days you actually crush it. And, if you're in a pool like Parasite and it doesn't have a lot of hash, then that 1 Bitcoin reward may not matter because the likelihood that you find it is quite low, right, on your own. So you kind of need that, parasitic relationship with the winner to make any money. And if you're low hash rate, then odds are not in your favor. Anyway.
Somebody said that the guy James Howells, the guy that lost his Bitcoin.
Yeah, who said it? Someone just said it in the Bull Bitcoin chat. Yeah, the garbage guy. Alex just said that in the Bull chat. I haven't looked into this at all, but I'd be shocked if that was true.
Yeah, I think the last time we talked about him, I think one of us said that we won't talk about him again.
Wrong again.
I don't know who. Maybe it was me. I'm fucking wrong.
That guy's such a little weasel. I hate the way he looks. I know that's not nice to say, but he just looks like a scammer. Looks like a guy in a office HR video. He's the guy making the sexually inappropriate comment in the HR video at the office. That's how he looks.
If you had to describe Luke Jr. We'll go from there. Anyways, let's move on. I think. Right? I'm telling you, in a parallel universe,
he looks like a guy who hangs out outside the pot shop. That's how he looks. Like he's like a, constantly stoned type.
He's not.
That's probably that's a generous description too. Honestly, I could do worse than that.
He's not hanging out with the comic book guy from The Simpsons.
No, I don't think so. Comic book guy has some riz, but I don't like Luke.
That's
God. I don't know, man. I don't understand. I said this a million times. Luke Dasher, assuming he didn't lose all his Bitcoin in this hack or whatever last year, like, how is it possible that you've been in Bitcoin for this long, have so much to say about time preference, and you've never been to a gym? You've never lifted weights. You've never, like, your diet shit, your skin is shit. Like,
he's coding 100%.
Have some water. Have some water while you're at the computer. Have a piece of celery.
He doesn't
or
even
something. I don't know.
He can't, man. He's just so focused on making sure that Ocean.
He's got to get his commits. He's got to get his commits.
Right, 400 or 500 over to his lifespan, which is decent. But apparently, Gloria has like 200 more than him.
I got this Gloria thing is crazy. I gotta listen to Bitcoin University guys talk about nepotism in Bitcoin. I do want to listen to it. I think these people are all. I said this. I think I tweeted this out. I don't know if I did or not. I wrote it and then just ignored it. But the thing is that all these people, okay, like Gloria, Luke, other core devs I won't name, I think these
maybe
people
one
spent
with
their-
a nice barba.
maybe. I think
Right.
all these people spent their whole lives as like shut-in losers, honestly. And just were so unprepared for the publicity, the fame, and fortune, and honestly, influence that came with Bitcoin at $10,000, Bitcoin at 50, Bitcoin at $100,000. They're still prepared for it. They don't have the psychological makeup to metabolize that attention in a positive way or productive way. And so they just become crazy. They don't know how to handle it. They're all like Johnny Manziel, except less cocaine and just more annoying tweets. And it's just, to me, it's like an obvious social petri dish that these guys have found themselves in. None of them can handle the pressure. I think that's the easiest way to look at all this stuff.
I don't know what to add to that.
Is it not? Like look at all these guys. Like they're just fucking weird. That's all. And they don't know how to handle all the eyeballs, right? I think that explains so much about how the way these guys act.
If you could characterize them, and I don't want to say this applies to everybody there, but it seems like, you know, the nerdy person, the one that just likes to hang out with the computer rather than an individual. Like that's what a programmer, you know, if you have to describe one, an historic one, that would be it, right? Maybe that's not the case now, but they're just kind of fitting the bill, so to speak. So is it really odd? And good for them that they were around. Think of now, if you want to go into a little bit further into this,
Sure.
Imagine somehow mining Bitcoin or buying it for fuck all, pennies,
penny.
dollars.
Yeah.
And it runs up to $100, $500, $1,000. You potentially 100x, 1000x your money or even your energy costs. And you're sitting on a ton of it, and this life-changing wealth, and even at that amount. I'm so happy people didn't sell for whatever reason. Maybe they
some
lost their
did,
keys.
some did, some didn't. Some
No,
did.
that's the case. All the more power to them, right? And people needed to pay their bills. But imagine holding on to it, and through the block size wars, the inflation bug, there's a whole bunch of things that you just didn't know what was
because those
happen.
You know what, those conversations were technical, and like the holders, the holders and miners and stuff that were around in the 2012, 13, whatever, 14 area, they cared about Bitcoin. And now, you know, Adam Back, another good example, like just cannot handle fame. Fame is the thing that is making these guys fucking weird. Nothing else. It's fame. They have the same ideas about culture and tech and Bitcoin and money, but it's the pressure they're under now that's making them making them act a fool.
Do you think
like,
Adam Back
famous poet
is
Ludacris says
succumbing to pressure because his status has been elevated?
Yeah.
And really, because it seemed like he's always been able to deal with it. He's, you know, I've heard him on a number of podcasts. He's always very well spoken.
So what?
And he's been on stage many times and didn't seem to be fazed by it. I think that what happened to Adam Back recently is just he's taking a stance that just is different than, say, Luke is.
Yeah.
And that's, you know, that's fine. Everybody has their own opinion. I don't agree with Adam Back's stance, but you know what? Everybody's has the ability to be wrong, and him too.
Yeah. Slay your heroes, right? That's the ethos in Bitcoin. So
it's you know what? I don't even say slay. Like, it's just everybody isn't a human being. Nobody should be on a pedestal. Everybody should be judged on what they're saying. They may have a history behind it, but the idea what they're presenting at that particular moment should be what you're looking at. Now, there may be some hidden agenda, and you got to digest that and take that into consideration. But still, the message that's being portrayed, that's
you can't be a mind reader. Can't be a mind reader for sure.
No.
Yeah, I agree with you there.
Solo mining.
Yep.
Let's talk about these guys. The solomining.co. That's the website if you want to check it out. They're a UK-based supplier of home-oriented Bitcoin miners. They sell home heaters like bit-axes, shit like that. You know, it's like stuff that the Central Tech is selling, or to a degree what 256 Heat is selling. But anyways, they reported this past week that the website was being DDoSed and tacked through that. This is a bullshit move, whoever is doing it. Wondering who is doing it, a competitor? I don't know. Remember, they're based in the UK, by the way. So I'm wondering if it's somebody that hates Bitcoin. Either way, this type of activity, you could just fuck right off. I don't like to see this. And since they're in the UK, I'm wondering what type of punishment that comes along with it. Because if you think about it, if the packets are full of Southport stories, 15 years gone. Don't even think about it, lock away. But if it's talking about grooming packets, maybe it's a 6-week suspended sentence. I don't know how things operate in the UK, but either way, I hate this. As Bitcoin becomes more mainstream, there's going to be more and more attacks that come upon it. And I'm looking at this, Paxful closing down. Like there's, it just seems like there's a shift in how things are being done. More regulations.
The UK is
more
cooked.
BS.
The UK is cooked.
Yeah, it's long gone. It's like, even if there's a travel advisory, is that what it's called? To go there, I think France and UK. I think if you look at the European map, it's all green except for 2 places. UK and I think France. Out of UK of all fucking places.
Immigration destroyed the United Kingdom. Like, you say whatever you want. Keir Starmer can say whatever he wants about, we'll come for you if you're anti-immigrant. Like, no one is anti-immigrant to an individual level. They're anti-immigrant in terms of the broad outcome of immigration over the last 10 years. Same thing here, right? No one hates any one immigrant. They just don't like what's happened to the country. These guys, again, like I talked about this a little bit with Mark last week or 2 weeks ago. Their priorities are mixed up. Like, you have so much going on that requires attention from your government, from your law enforcement, from whatever. And this is where you're spending your time. It's unbelievable. You should be so mad if you're a UK citizen, like so mad, but you're not even allowed to get mad anymore. The police will come to your house.
You just got to think it. You have to just have a thought.
Pretty soon you won't even be allowed to do that. They'll come get you.
All right, Swifties this past week, they have a lot to be happy for because Swift has announced they're going to be developing their own blockchain-based ledger to be used with 30-plus banks. And from what I understand, XRP not going to be used.
Not in the paper? It's not there.
Fuck
not again.
them.
Must be a mistake.
So the new blockchain is supposed to enable instant 24/7 cross-border payments. Imagine having to build your own system from scratch when Lightning exists. It does exactly what they're describing right now, but I guess because it's decentralized, they want to make their own centralized server. The Swift CEO, Javier Perez Tasso, órale, amigo.
Isn't he playing the Super Bowl halftime show?
He should. I don't want to leave it alone. Anyways, I'm very pleased to announce that we will add a blockchain-based ledger to our technology infrastructure.
What does that? Listen, I don't care about this quote.
Oh, it gets better.
What does that even mean? Okay,
it gets better. To allow for trusted movement of tokenized value across digital ecosystems. You may think, wow, aren't those the opposites? Swift and blockchain, TradFi and DeFi, can they go together? In the regulated system of the future, we believe they can. Banks are ready for it, and they're asking us to play a bigger role. CBDCs for bank coming to you in the very near future. XRP out of the loop. They're developing their own. Love to see it.
What's going on with the XRP army these days? How are they doing?
Them.
Are they okay?
I have no fucking clue. It just, I look at this and they're building their own system. Bitcoin fucking works. Just use fucking Lightning. I don't know. Anyways, Swift, fuck them.
Swifties.
Or Swifties. I forget that way.
Love it. I love it.
Sparrow, we'll do one last story about Sparrow, I guess.
Sure, yeah. New version, right?
Yeah, version 2.3.0.
Did you get it yet?
No, I did not. Straight from their X feed. I like to wait a little while first before I get it a new version for some reason. According to their X feed, their X post, this release adds support for sending silent payment addresses. Silent payment addresses are a new form of static payment address where an actual Bitcoin address that you send to is determined from both the silent payment address and the transaction inputs. Very cool. Also, they're doing a BIP 353 known as DNS payments. So you now could pay to an address that looks similar to like Bitcoin user at domain.com. And that's resolved to a DNSSEC signed Bitcoin URI. They say for security reasons, only use a silent address payment. And if you want to upgrade to Sparrow version 2.3, suggest you do it the proper way. Download Sparrow from their website. Verify the signatures. You just drag and drop. You follow the instructions, drag and drop the file into Sparrow. And once you see the verification is good, Bob is your uncle, and you do it right. Don't fuck around with Sparrow. Don't fuck around with your Bitcoin.
Just
Learn the fuck-
if you need Sparrow on your phone, just go to the App Store, type in
Oh, yes,
Sparrow, and download
Remember that
whatever
guy that
comes
got
up
duped?
first. Yeah, it was like 2 weeks ago. And
No, a little
you know,
more. Apple. It was on an Apple system,
oh,
right?
God, what a nightmare. If I type in Sparrow in the App Store right now, what comes up?
It's
I wonder.
gone. They took it out almost like within a day or two. They're very
Yeah, but
quick at that.
something will come up. What will come up? Let's see. Sparrow wallet.
Blue Wallet. I'm thinking Blue Wallet. Probably
No,
one.
it's Slush, a Sui wallet, then Blue Wallet, then Exodus wallet, Ledger Live, Trust, Blockstream, Atomic wallet. Never heard of that.
What's Atomic Wallet? Yeah, the first one is interesting because
It's a Sui wallet. So Sui's another
Yeah.
token. Yeah.
So
Sui's what you'll be doing if you get rugged by fake Sparrow.
That's bullshit. Like Sparrow is only Bitcoin.
Yeah.
You want to do anything else, it does not work with Sparrow. Yet when you search for Sparrow, the first thing that comes up is a shitcoin wallet. Does that make sense? Shouldn't it like be Blue Wallet or
it's an
a
ad
derivative
too,
of-
which is the worst part. So Apple's taking money to put that at the top.
There, that's right. That's probably why. Yeah.
There you go.
Good for them.
Interesting.
Good
Yeah, I
for
guess so.
shareholders.
Yeah.
All right. That's it for us.
Let's go over to the notable stories and, of course, Brampton Hamilton Man as well. If you're with us on video live, stay with us. We're not going anywhere. If you're on audio, come back tomorrow for the other half. You guys know the drill. Until then, take care of yourselves.
Don't be a cock.
I was almost 1 hour, 1 minute. I thought it was 1 hour on the dot. Nice. This Canada inflation, Bank of Canada inflation thing has me absolutely laughing. It's interesting because like 2 years ago, I sent this. I see Mark's in the chat. So I'll tell you guys what we were talking about today a little bit. I sent this to Mark 2 years ago in The Guardian, or 3 years ago in The Guardian. There was a story that basically said central banks around the world need to abandon their 2% inflation target to prevent financial calamity. And it seems to me like only Bitcoiners were talking about it at that point, and no one else is really listening. You know, everyone still thinks inflation 2% target is intact. They're gunning for this. They talk about how far away banks are from the inflation target of 2%. Even guys like Jeff Gunlock, who go on, CNBC every time there's a Fed meeting, talk about how far off the inflation target is from the actual inflation. And it's always this 2% anchor. Bitcoiners were so far ahead on this. And now in Canada, a place where inflation is so bad you can't buy a house, they're going to abandon this, or core inflation, I should say, as a metric that they look at to determine whether or not they need to make a move on policy. That to me is absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. It's like Canadian kids are probably in the worst boat of any kid in the world. Like European countries are totally fucked. Japan obviously fucked for a number of reasons.
Australia's another one that's challenging.
They're fucked. It's funny, like all these countries, by the way, say that the US is in the worst shape, like they're a country that's in decline, whatever. The US, as a percentage of the total, the US central bank owns very little US debt. It's like 7% of all issuance. Meanwhile, here in Canada, it's like 14, 15, something like that. Japan's up at, 45 or 50, even higher than that. And in the States, it's like 7%. They're actually in the best fiscal situation, and it's not close. And it's funny, all these guys are on TV constantly just talking to each other. They'll never say this to Trump or to the American media, of course. I think any competent person would just look this up. But Canada now abandoning inflation as a metric to decide policy at the worst possible time. You say whatever you want. Core. What are they going to do? Change something? They could change to super core or whatever. Jerome Powell's got a million different names for it. Why can't TIF, right? But interesting. I actually think this is going to go arm in arm with the budget that's coming out in a month, that the interim PBO guy is on every show talking about how fucked we are to anyone who will have them. And now Minister Champagne is on TV talking about how we're going to spend less and invest more. It's like, this is like mind numbing. This is the kind of stuff that 3 years ago would have sent me into an anxiety attack for sure. My wife would tell me to put my phone down and stop talking about it. But now, Len,
serenity now.
I'm zen, baby.
Yeah,
I got my pumpkin spice latte here. It's October. We're rolling in all-time highs, and I have a house. My daughter's gonna be fine financially. I'm gonna be fine financially. People who listen to this show are gonna be fine financially, and It's like everyone else is just fucked and has no idea. It's honestly too bad. It's honestly too bad. But at this point, it's basically a done deal.
Do you subscribe to that theory that 2% inflation is a target that should be reached?
No,
Is that the goal that we should be striving for?
And by the way, like my thoughts on inflation, I've said this before on the show when the show was a lot smaller. We used to talk about it all the time, but my thoughts are the same as every other competent person, that the reason inflation is 2% is because that's how you keep entitlements in check, pensions, benefits, and whatnot that are related or indexed to the inflation number. Well, you have to keep it low because otherwise you can't pay people 8% more every year on their pension. Germany dealing with that now, right? Germany out and out saying that their economy can no longer support the pension payments. So, I mean, everyone is having these problems. And I think the reason you let inflation run hot is because you think you can inflate your way out of a deficit problem and maybe get things back in order. But like Lynn Alden says, man, nothing stops this train. It's over already. And the question is now, what do we get next? Do we get some kind of like techno-fascism? Do we get communism? Do we get, like Hervoye Moritz says, the algorithm ghetto? What do we get? Some combination of the three? I don't know. Or do we get the AI revolution? As far as I can tell, we're building nuclear facilities next to data centers so everyone can just produce AI slop. So I don't know.
Bitcoin is boiling the oceans. Yet they're happy to. So the 2% is it's an admission that the money supply is expanding because things wouldn't inflate across the board without new money being injected in the system. So that's a very Keynesian way of doing things.
Yeah,
right? Because you have to borrow. Yeah. So the 2%, like it's ingrained. Oh, we got to reach it. It's the best. Who the fuck cares? It could be 0%. It could be negative 2%. Let the market decide which way it should be going.
Yeah.
That's really the best way. If things are desirable, the price of that should go up.
Yeah.
Not because there's more money in the system. It's just because more people want to get it. Or if they find efficiencies on making something and now they can mass produce it far cheaper and easier, the price of that should go down. And it's not subjected to how much money is being pumped into the system. I like a closed loop.
Totally.
And that way
you're 100% right. It should be like that, but it's not, right?
Now, Canada, I'm not sure if you heard this, because I heard it today and I was fucking floored. Now, Canada has decided budgets are now going to fall. Never have I seen this before. It's always the springtime, April-ish, give or take a few weeks.
Buddy, they're repairing the plane in the air right now, and it's not looking good.
For people that are wondering what the fuck I'm saying is, instead of having the federal budget come out every April-ish, they're going to do it now every fall, October, November-ish. I don't know what the fuck. This year it's going to be November, but they're not going to do it. It's every year. It's going to be the fall. What does this mean, man? Like, then everybody's going to have to, that's tied to this, is going to have to adjust their schedule. Whatever is, we have Canada Post on strike still. It's now week and a half into it. It was 2 Fridays ago they decided to start this thing. In Alberta, even teachers are on strike. Elementary.
It just went on. Friend of the show. I won't say his name, but we were talking about it today actually on Twitter.
There's somebody. I think that's the very same person. That I just want to thank him for trying very hard to land us a very prominent Albertan to come on the show. But it seems like she is very busy with other things. They got the strike over there, teacher strike. So it's too bad, so sad. It probably won't pan out. It's not.
Could also be because we do a Hamilton versus Brampton man segment every week. Hard to say what the cause was. Yeah,
we could change it. We could do
Calgary man versus Edmonton man.
No, but what's like? I'm trying to think.
It'd be like, it would have to be like Fort Mac man. Yeah. Fort Mac man versus Calgary man for sure. Yeah. A man was driving a Dodge Challenger at 160 miles an hour. Yeah.
Okay. But that's where we're at. Now we have strikes on the educational side, strikes on our Canada Post. Like, it's just, nobody can say things are going the way it should be.
Yeah.
But yeah, we have a budget that's going to come out in November. Whatever.
The reason that it comes out in the spring usually is because the fiscal year for government for everyone ends in March. And so you release the budget after that and you have a sort of clean slate, whatever. And then also, Len, why else? Because if your budget doesn't land, then you go into an election when? In the summer when it's warm, or in the early fall when it's warm. Well, this is typically what we see. We don't see winter elections. And now if the budget doesn't land, you have 6 months where you're not going to have an election because no one wants to go to the polls in the winter. And so you have time to eat into some of the negative public opinion that might come your way. And I expect that to happen here. I think everybody does. And they're going to be immune to it because no one's going to the polls. I know you talk about all the time. You can't go to the poll anyway because, the NDP is not going to support it and they don't have any money. I'm with you there. But as a general rule, we don't go to the polls in the winter. And so now they have this buffer between when we would go. It's just all of this is it's all strategic. There's no good reason to do this except because they want to do it.
Well, you can't go to the polls because people are watching rugby matches too.
They're watching Love is Blind, which just started the other day.
Was that like a Netflix show or something?
Oh yeah, it's the best. You guys, you should watch it with your wife. You should watch it with your wife.
No.
Yeah, you should check it out.
No. Again, as I get older, I'm become either more stubborn or principled.
More principled.
And man, Netflix is gonna get nothing. Well, see, I'm holding the Singapore dollar. They're now gonna get one fucking these guys. Fuck them. This stuff. This is for me to hold on to. Thank you, Dan Wedge. Government shutdown in the States is going on.
Love it.
We got the
nothing has changed. The odds on Polymarket of it going more than 30 days are higher than they've ever been.
You know what's it's essential employees. They're like active duty military, law enforcement, air traffic controllers. They're required to work without pay. Ouch. Imagine showing up to work. I guess to get paid in the future, but imagine going up to work. Like you don't get anything. You're just a volunteer, so to speak. Very well trained. Like, the air traffic controllers, I can't fucking do it. You sent me to a course to learn it in 30 days. I still can't fucking do it. These people, they know what they're fucking doing, but they're doing it without pay right now. Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh man. This happens periodically. Didn't they give them a blank slate to say you guys could just?
I don't remember. Yeah.
Wasn't there like the ceiling, the debt ceiling? They decided, okay, we'll just fuck with it. We don't have to.
Or there was going to be no debt ceiling for 18 months or something like that.
Then did that expire?
I can't remember. It's so funny. It feels to me like any other time, any other era that would have been big news that I would remember. But there's just so much stuff going on that I already forgot. I have no idea if that actually went through. Len's looking it up right now. I have no idea if that.
No.
Wasn't that? I thought that was a Trump 2 policy. So, I mean, it's been a year-ish, did that, what happened? I don't know.
I thought they give them carte blanche here to do whatever the fuck they want with this stuff. And so it deals with, so now more strikes. Well, in this case, it's people are just being forced to stay home because they run out of cash.
Yeah.
And they fucking just couldn't make it.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. Let's talk about making it. This person did. Harvard, they hired this drag queen named Lahore Vajistan, and this person's gonna be joining as a visiting professor.
Interesting.
And teach a class at Harvard. It's a show part of a show called RuPaul Drag Race. Yeah, so love it. Harvard looks like they're going to be getting some new influx of colors over there. Colorful wardrobes.
Why should anyone pay to go to a public university?
This is private, isn't it?
Well, it's public. They take public funds. Like all these universities take public funds. That was
it's all a state college, right?
I know, but the universities and states still take public funds. And this was the crux of this, commentary from Trump earlier, that universities who want to be biased and do stupid shit can do whatever they want, but they can't do it and take public money. Not with their huge endowments, not with their political slants. They're not going to get public money anymore. What do you call this? By the way, again, just to cover all our bases here, Len and I are not saying that we are, attacking. We're not attacking the trans community. Okay. I don't care about that community at all. It never crosses my mind. I could give two shits about it. What I care about, I'm just
reporting on this.
What I care about is
story.
This is supposed to be higher ed. Is this higher ed?
You got to dig down deep, Joey, right?
Okay.
Because the stage name is Lahore Vajistan. And it's because this person has Pakistani roots, from what I understand. Family traces to Pakistan. There's a city called Lahore over there, Bajistan, Pakistan. So as you can see, there's a reason why they went with this. So yeah, I like this.
You
I'm
gonna
not
register
gonna attend.
online class? What do you think? Should we register?
If I had to go, I'd have to go in person. I don't want to like online. You don't
Mm.
get the full scope of this.
True,
right?
true.
If you want to absorb the spectrum of colors, you got to do it in person.
You want to get a
Right.
feel for the content. Yeah, you want to get a feel for the content. You got to do it in the classroom. Yeah.
You like how President Trump is talking about sending money, those stimulus checks, maybe.
I love it. I love stimmy checks.
And this is all because using the tariffs. That's tariffs money that they've been accumulated. So it's more stimulus. Look, Trump. How fucking bad is this going to turn out?
He's the best. He's the best.
No, he ain't. Man.
Do you know what the funniest thing is? These guys sold tariffs as a way to get the U.S. financial situation under more control. And what happened? They got the tariff money and they're just going to send it out to everybody to spend on KFC. Like this is unbelievable. They just all that happens is government increases revenues and increases expenditures plus more to match every single time. Every single time, that's what they do. Not just this, everyone does this. Every government does this. That's all they do. It's all they know how to do is spend fucking money, man.
One can make an argument that they could spend it on a program that wouldn't resonate well with the people. I'm trying to give them credit for this one. It's hard for me to do it, but if I'm gonna have to, I'm gonna dig deep here because they could send money to some program in some other country that doesn't affect them directly.
Yeah.
So rather than doing that, why not give the money directly to the people?
I'm not saying they shouldn't do it. If they're going to spend the money anyway, then send it to everyone who's, apparently suffering with increased pricing because these tariffs are being passed to consumers. By the way, Federal Reserve in the States says that is not happening. Professional economists wrong again.
Even my thinking on this. So knowing that this thing is it's just a runaway mess.
Yeah.
There's no way to stop this, right?
You're talking about the fiscal situation.
Yeah. What? 37 trillion in debt. What am I off a trillion? Whatever. Who gives a fuck?
It's going up 10 billion a minute, whatever. 10 billion a second or something.
So it's gone. So why not just let people have a little bit of fun? Here's a couple of grand,
everyone gets $2,000 and a Darien Lake weekend pass. Have fun. We'll see you in a couple of weeks. Good luck.
You think they're going to sell out a crab again at places like Miami and shit like that?
Man, I don't know.
They ran out of fucking crab.
You know what's funny? They had that, the Red Lobster in the States had that like resurgence on the back of a new dish. Talk about like a sign of the times. The new food option was a crab boil that they gave to you in a plastic bag. So they had like a plastic bag full of boiled crab and other seafood. It's like a gumbo maybe or something like that, or a stew. And they just hand it to you in a bag. Here you go. Here's your seafood boil. Like that is the situation the U.S. is in right now. That's enough to bring a company back from the dead. I love it. I love these stories. I love them.
Red Lobster go and claim bankruptcy protection in the U.S.?
Did they? They might have. I don't know. Honestly.
In Canada, no. But in the United States, I've heard that they.
What's worse, Red Lobster or Swiss Chalet?
Swiss Chalet.
Yeah, I think Swiss Chalet is probably the worst restaurant on earth.
Not the worst of the two. There's far worse than that. I come on. I can't think of one at the top of my head. Tim Hortons considered a restaurant?
It's not a restaurant.
What is Tim Hortons considered?
If you're sitting down, you have to be able to sit down when you order, and someone's got to bring you your food sitting down. That's a restaurant.
Denny's?
I like Denny's better than Swiss Chalet. Buddy, the Grand Slam is a classic.
Is it?
The Americans won wars on the Grand Slam. Are you kidding me? Come on.
I don't know. I like to hear what people think about this. What's shittier?
leave us a comment.
in Quebec, isn't it? That what it's called?
I like Saint Hubert.
That's Swiss Chalet.
I like it. It's good.
How could you like one, but it's one with the clown suit on? You take the clown suit off, they're the same fucking person.
Chicken costume, yeah.
Anyways, let's talk about this beauty of an article in the New York Times talking about Roundup, and it's an opinion piece. Spraying Roundup on crops is fine. Really, that's the fucking title. Roundup, this stuff that people talk about.
This causes cancer. Roundup causes
Yeah.
cancer. Yeah.
They
yeah.
say, according to this, there's no significant risk to human health when used properly. And they say the scientific evidence does not support the public's fear.
They lost a lawsuit. Monsanto lost a lawsuit on the Roundup question like 20 years ago, 30 years ago. Why are we still talking about this?
They're saying that the acute toxicity of the thing is lower than common household substances like caffeine. There's some truth to that, because if you take like a teaspoon of pure caffeine, you're dead shortly thereafter.
Fine.
I don't think if you take a teaspoon or sniff the Roundup, you're
you die 20 years later.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe not that long. Maybe it's a 10-minute thing, but so but like, let's be honest, scientific evidence, they're talking, they use this when it's needed, and then other times they can muff it up and just, oh no, this fucking. I want to know how much Roundup paid to have
a lot.
New York Times.
Yeah,
right. Come on. What the fuck? I know that food quality and growing food is a huge thing, but at the expense of giving people or increasing the chance of getting cancer, no. Fuck that.
I just want to shout out. We got some Rumble chat here. Crypto unicorns, Saint Hubert, way better than Swiss Chalet.
How is it better?
Everyone knows,
the same.
man.
I want to know. I don't travel a lot. Quebec, hey, I don't know what
That's
the,
the greatest difference. Swiss
fuck's
Chalet is gross. I'm with you. I think Swiss Chalet is terrible. It's absolutely a dog shit. Some of the worst food on the planet. I love a good quarter chicken too, by the way. Like I'll eat a quarter chicken at home. My wife actually bought one of those pre-cooked chickens at the grocery store today. We had it for dinner.
Costco chickens.
Yeah, it was we got it from Metro. We didn't go to Costco, but yeah.
Costco chickens, those are fantastic. The
I
price
love them.
is done right. UK, we talked about UK before. Let's talk about them again.
Sure.
They're thinking about guaranteeing work for young people up to 18 months.
18 months is a little young to be working, isn't it?
No, not an 18-month-old. It's people that have been off work, long-term joblessness. They're going to be trying to provide them mandatory work with benefits.
Listen, providing mandatory work.
Think about that. I love people ages.
You can go pick up the garbage at a migrant hotel where everyone's living for free. Enjoy your job, your new career.
So people between ages 18 and 21 who have been on universal credit for 18 months without earning or learning, they're going to be potentially given one of these guaranteed offers. They're going to get a work placement, or an apprenticeship to help them learn a trade, or a place in college to continue their studies, or some way one-on-one support to find a job. Wonderful stuff. They want to abolish long-term youth employment.
Then stop bringing over 100 million people. Try that. Have you tried not bringing over migrants who take those jobs? Have you given that any thought, Kier? Come in, Kier. Kier, can you hear me?
Stop, or burn down the St. Hubert's in fucking London, and then nobody could work there because there's one less St. Hubert's restaurant to fucking have people work in.
We gotta do something about this St. Hubert's. St. Hubert, come on the show. Listen, I love the UK. The UK now is a Black Mirror episode, and it gets worse by the day. Everyone over there is just fucking fed up. They're fed up. I can't wait to see what happens over there. True powder keg in the UK right now.
Would you rather live in the UK
or Brampton? Probably the UK. Yeah. Was that the question?
No, that's interesting.
Yeah. UK, better shopping in the UK. Sneakers and stuff in the UK is one of my favorite stores. I used to dream at that website. I went there once when I went to the UK with my wife. They also have a Nike lab in London where I spent a lot of money on shoes when I was there.
There was an interesting stat I saw, and I can't rhyme it off entirely, but it was, if you strip out the city of London from UK, their GDP per capita is way below every state.
I believe it.
So it just shows you how much wealth is in London and is propping up the GDP per capita statistic over there. Yeah. So if you're going to move there, and I think in London, like this core of it, there's certain days you could drive and you can't. I think it's like one day's even numbers, another day is odd number. License plates could drive. So it's fucking congested. All this shit. Whatever. All right. It's time to move to the Hamilton versus Brampton Man segment, brought to you by
256 Heat. Keep talking. I'm gonna show you the miner. I replaced my miner with a new one, courtesy of Twan. He wanted a fancy one on camera. This is the new S19 model. You're going to love it.
So 256heat.com, you could purchase over there some heating equipment over there. We're heading into the colder months in Canada and some parts of the United States. And what better way to heat up those parts of your home with a Bitcoin miner? So this way you're using your electricity to not just heat your home, but to also mine for electricity. KYC free if you're using certain pools. There's the pool, there's the items, magnificent over there. Look at that. And quiet as fuck. It's not plugged in right now, but if it were, you wouldn't hear it. And there he's going to put it back in the background, and it will be plugged in momentarily. And you know what? You could have this heating your home. You don't even hear it, but your wallet grows because you're mining Bitcoin. 256heat.com. Check them out, and don't forget to tell them that we sent you.
How sick is that? Does that not look sick?
Is it plugged in right now?
It was plugged in the whole show. I just unplugged it to show you guys.
And you didn't plug it back in, though?
It's plugged in right now.
Okay, there you go. See, as I mentioned, you
Yeah.
don't even know it's there.
No.
So,
You'll
all
never
right,
get-
so let's talk about the
Closing the
two men.
chat. Okay, here we go. Here we go.
All right,
4 and
so we
1,
have-
5 and 1 so far.
Number one. We have police arrested a suspect in a robbery of a convenience store where the thief wore a Dolly Parton style wig. A 61-year-old man was charged. It was around 3 a.m. Police responded to a Mac's convenience store, and police were provided information that a male dressed as a female wearing a blonde wig and miniskirt. And according to police, the man used a sharp-edged weapon to threaten a lone employee to steal cigarettes, not cash,
Ooh,
cigarettes.
Okay.
Police say there were no injuries from the incident. The 61-year-old has been charged with robbery and disguise with intent. And according to police, surveillance video provided assisted them with the arrest. So I guess just finding the big 61-year-old dude wearing a fucking miniskirt and a wig, it's easy enough to find out.
He was
There you
headed to
go.
Harvard for class. He got lost on the way.
It's number one. Number two, we have charges laid against a man for allegedly assaulting a waitress after attempted dine and dash, according to the OPP. A man in t-shirt, shorts, and flip-flop is seen screaming.
Dead giveaway. Dead giveaway. Okay,
Maybe
go ahead.
not.
Yeah,
Maybe
go ahead.
not. See, maybe
Go
I
ahead.
throw these in as a way to fucking trick you.
Okay, yeah, maybe.
Threatened as a staff member as he left a restaurant without paying the bill. The couple who allegedly fled without paying the bill were part of a larger group that had run up the tab. And one of the people there who was working felt that they were disrespected. The couple walked away. The owner of the restaurant said he and her colleague who was there, they decided to follow them with hopes of getting the license plate number. The couple disappeared down an alley and they did not follow them further. But they did return back to the restaurant after the authorities were called. They found them and it took a day. He was identified and they came back to the restaurant, settled his bill, and offered an apology to the dude. $371, including tip, was paid in full the day after this happened. And this all came about because this was posted on social media. And a man 38 years old was found facing charges of assault and uttering threats to cause bodily harm.
Who paid the bill? The 38-year-old or someone from the party?
Now, 38-year-old came in and paid it all in full the day after.
This is a tough one. I'll tell you why it's a tough one. The Brampton man, the average Brampton man, does not dress up as Dolly Parton. He doesn't wear the Dolly Parton wig because it just doesn't fit with the Brampton man ethos, you know? Doesn't fit the Brampton man aesthetic, let's say. On the other hand, every picture I see of Brampton men, you know, after they crash like 18-wheelers, they're always wearing flip-flops. So part of me thinks that a large group where a guy in flip-flops touches a waitress, they don't pay, but then why come back? This is the other thing. Why, like, the Brampton man also does not return to the scene of the crime. You know, like the Brampton man does not do that. So, but then the Brampton man, the Brampton man doesn't really smoke either. Right? The Brampton man is not a smoker. He's not a smoking archetype. His avatar does not smoke. So I think the Brampton man is the restaurant groper assaulter, and it's a Hamilton man who's the convenience store robber.
You are correct. So
Knew it. I knew it.
This is the story.
Flip flops gives it away.
See, I can't rip that out because I gotta leave it in there. You never know. I sent the story there. You can see the Brampton man in question.
Let's see. Let's pull it up. We got to pull it up as always. Damn. Right away. Right away. Hold on. We got to wait for this ad to run here, and then I'll throw it on the screen. Listen, it's never in doubt. Never in doubt. And by the way, this is just an example of how there is a thematic truth, okay, about the Brampton man avatar that seems to be consistent across different disciplines, different cities, different incidents. It's always the same story. Let me see here. Share screen. Here we go. Let's put it up. We'll just watch the video. It's 2 minutes long. We'll
we're gonna get demonetized.
no, we won't get a strike for this.
I don't give a fuck even if we are.
Most restaurant customers pay their bill at the end of a meal, and most waiters don't expect a confrontation with someone.
Can I just say something about this guy? I don't know who this guy is, but I actually recognize him from other stories that he's reported on where Brampton men have been the target. An illegal renovation was the last one I saw where these two Brampton men were digging a basement in flip-flops.
Oh yeah,
you remember? This is the same guy. Okay, let's
holy
keep going.
fuck, good memory.
Same guy.
They refused to pay, but that's what happened here, and it was caught on video.
This group was walking out on their bill. It was a pretty significant bill, like over $300.
Robbie Martin is a waiter at this restaurant at Blue Mountain Village. Earlier this month, he tried to collect money from diners who didn't pay.
They told me that they felt disrespected, and I said, that's not a good reason to walk out on a bill like this.
Martin's efforts were captured on video recorded by another restaurant worker.
I'll knock you the out.
Moments earlier, Martin says the customer got aggressive.
He was making fists, sort of, as if he was going to punch me. So that's why I put my arm up.
You don't know me. You don't know me. You don't know what I can do.
The man and his wife, part of a group of 6, including 3 children. The customers wanted their bills split, and management finally agreed.
The manager went to go split the bill for them, and then that's when they just got up and left.
The customers were being served by a female waiter. Martin is 6'4". He was asked to try and get payment.
Get the away from me.
After the group left without paying and police were called, Martin wasn't hopeful.
And they told me that there's no way to identify this guy.
But a day after the video was shared by social media influencer Michael McWhorter, known as Tizzy Ent,
he was identified, and then the police got his information, and he's being charged.
Police charged 38-year-old William Elvia of Brampton with assault and uttering threats to cause bodily harm. We reached Elvia on the phone.
Yeah, this is Will speaking.
Hi, it's Sean O'Shea. I'm a television reporter at Global News and calling to get your comment, please.
Oh, sorry, I'm not interested in comment at the moment.
No, I was shaking. You couldn't tell me, but I was absolutely trembling.
Martin says he's speaking out because he says restaurant workers and others in customer service often feel threatened.
And he was very clear that he wanted to hurt me, I didn't feel safe in that situation, and I shouldn't, and no one should feel unsafe at work.
What's your problem? Breaking the law. You're a
Patience and respect go a really long way.
A $371 bill, including a tip, was finally paid one day after this video went viral. The issue now is how that customer handled himself outside the restaurant. He'll appear in court late next month.
Outstanding. That is so good. That is so good. What a clown. Also, he's like just a little harmless, like dumpling Buddha body type, like he just the physique of a chicken ball. He's threatening this guy who's a fucking tank. Like, okay, man, your kids are in a stroller 20 feet away. Your wife is telling you to cut it out. She knows you're a pussy. Like, what's happening in this confrontation?
See, SH Burner saying we should do a segment on Surrey or Brampton.
Surrey Manor.
You would never figure that one out. It's like a coin flip.
No. Let's get out of here. Come back on Wednesday. I'll be talking to Mike Campbell. Looking forward to talking to Uncle Mike about all the latest and greatest, and not so great, honestly, in Canada. So stay tuned for that. Until next time, we'll see ya.
And don't dine and dash.